Hello, everybody. I'm Elen. Welcome to another episode of Prospect Pulse, the podcast where we talk about international basketball scouting in under 20 minutes. In this episode, we will talk about the ANGT finals, which took place in Berlin. We did a preview about the tournament in the previous episode, so if you would like, go and check that out beforehand. Real Madrid won for the second year in a row after defeating Ince Paris in a game that was decided in overtime. Now, the internet is raging with highlights from Nolan Traoré, Dabone, and Egor Demin, and many of the mock drafts for the upcoming years are being updated based on these highlights. I could do the easy and obvious and just focus on these players, but I would like to talk briefly not only about them, but also about others which stock has, in my opinion, risen after the tournament. Not necessarily talking about the NBA, but overall. The first player that I would like to talk about is Declan Duru. If we forget about the idea of Duru when he was signed by Real Madrid some years ago, where he looked like the next LeBron James, Duru is more than an interesting player. He was solid throughout the whole tournament, especially on the defensive side, where he has an elite physical profile and shows potentially to eventually defend all 5 positions, no matter the level that we're talking at. Offensively, the less he tries to do with the ball, the better. He's a strong finisher above the rim, and his corner shot looks to be developing well. He might, however, suffer in a world where everybody's moving away from specialists and looking for the ultimate Swiss Army knife. But I do see him being valuable for many teams that provide him the right context to operate in and grow. Maybe a move to a BBL team, let's not forget he's German, will be ideal. But I think he's got many options. His teammates from Real Madrid, Hugo and Egor, had a good tournament, and probably Egor's final performance and Hugo's overtime forcing clutch shot will impact the recall people have of their overall performance. For me, the tournament was more a confirmation of the open questions I have about them, rather than the opposite. I won't get into the details now in order to keep this episode within the time box, but if you're curious, you can go and check episode 2 where I talk about them. Moving on to Overtime Elite, Parker Robinson let us believe in the return of traditional shooting guards. He was probably the best pure shooter of the whole tournament, and also showed good legs and athletic ability. If anything, he should be able to make a living playing basketball. I can see him fitting right overseas at many different levels. Very interesting. Let's see how the future goes for him. Talking about Milan, a team that struggled but showed a lot of heart and ability to play sound fundamental quality basketball, their trio of forwards confirmed their interesting potential, especially I would say the 2007 born Diego Garavaglia. But one player that surprised me was their center, Luigi Swigo. The 2007 born 2 meters 17 centimeters tall player reminded me in bursts on occasions to Ante Tomic because of his nice touch and moves near the rim. In defense, he did not save any kind of effort and worked very hard. He even showed the ability to break the pressure and bring up the ball forward without turning it over. Definitely a player to keep an eye on in the long term, especially for European leagues. Although I can see him fit in many different college programs. Will be very interesting to see what happens with him in the future. Keeping the topic within young big men, FC Barcelona's Seyon Keita. Oh man, born in 2008 and already 2 meters 12 centimeters tall, he had in my opinion a great tournament. He showcased good hands and effort in defense, and the hints are there to untapped potential that hopefully will keep growing in the upcoming seasons. Really looking forward to see him play next year. Last but not least, and probably one of the players whose stock rose the most during the tournament, the forward Jonas Boulefa from Ince Paris showcased his ability to stretch the floor and displayed his toughness and hustle game after game. Definitely one of the winners of the tournament, even though they didn't end up getting the trophy. But if we consider individual performances, he was very solid. These were the players that, outside of the already considered stars before the tournament started, caught my attention because of their performance. However, Howindo, Soliman and Dabone are probably still the most interesting projects if we talk about the NBA draft. About Dabone, without jumping into the debate and questions about his age, just let me say that even if he were a few years older than what they say, he still looks very interesting. there's some Antetokounmpo in him. We also can't forget about Dörris, who could not shine with the Alba team in a tournament that was tough for them, but definitely got some attention with his potential to become a solid stretch big. On the other hand, Esseng from Ulm made the question marks on his game even bigger for me. Other names who we also talked about in the previous episode, like Nolan Traoré, Jakusionis or Sar, confirmed that they will be pros. Especially Nolan, he will probably get a chance somewhere in the NBA, but I am not so high on him being a lottery pick and performing like one right off the bat. But we shall see. I probably will do a dedicated episode on him at some point next season. And I would really like to hear your opinions on him so far. So yeah, that's a wrap about the ANGT. It was short and I hope that also sweet. Already looking forward to next year's edition, but we will have enough time in between with all the national team tournaments that happen during the summer. Stay tuned to the pod and as always, feel free to reach out and connect if you have any questions. See you next time.